ancient Israelites. It is a new beginning. The debts have been canceled in the Jubilee year. Those who were slaves are set free during the Jubilee year. Families reconstitute and move forward in the Jubilee year. The trumpets sound and the people proclaim that God is doing something. For you who are members and friends of Trinity Lutheran Church in Sherman, I would ask you, what will this congregation look like on your 100th anniversary 50 years from now? Who will you be? And while most of you will not be here, my challenge to you is to say, how will you make happen what Trinity Lutheran Church needs to be and can be as the shining light of Jesus Christ? Indeed, this is a congregation that has been blessed. You are a people of the Word. May that Word sit in your hearts richly. May the Word of faith in Jesus Christ empower you to be witnesses in the world, to be inviting, and to celebrate all that God gives you into the future.
Well, if I could, first off, I'd like to get the nomenclature and that straight. I think Debbie Allison here not too long ago had one of her classes going on, and they were trying very much to associate the youngsters with the older ones in there. She never could get my part of it over, and finally she said, well, he's the one that gets up in front of the congregation and mouths a whole lot. And then to top it off, last week I sat in the parking lot in the pickup listening to some music. It wasn't quite time for me to go get in my pew in front of Emily, so I was sitting there and Pastor Johnson walked up and he said, Henry, said, I can smell you a block away. So I don't know if I'm a mouther or whatever you like on it. Mike Marlowe here, I'd like to recognize him for what a wonderful job he's done with his cameras, his projectors, and things. And of our older ones way back, we had a Captain Hawley from Perryfield. He was a big benefactor to the beginning of the church. And a Dr. Phelps, who helped tremendously with the addition on the back of it on Hickory Street. And we had the Ratliffs, Miss Belden, who was she was our organist and left all she had, great woman. Bruce Monkley, one of the leaders that kept us going with the music. And John Sutton, who was an accomplished pianist. He played for us a long time, and recently he had a concert here at Austin College. Some of the unsung ones who can some way or other stay in oblivion, accomplish more than a lot of people. I'd like to recognize one who has been just a big asset to the church, and that's Carol Pfeiffer. We also have so much talent here that we take for granted, and I'd like to recognize them. We got Amy, we've got Pam, and Roger Hale, and it's so many of them that there's talent here that I've never seen it anywhere else. And some of the, I go back to some of the beginning, it was brought up in the films about Pastor Probst when he first came down here, this apartment that he had. What he didn't tell you was that the women had found it for him. It had a bathtub that if you measured from one end to the extreme of the other, it would almost be 4 foot. It made a good foot bath for him. And his first indoctrination out there going to country, I had 4 male aunts that lived out in Ghana. And they had one that they was dedicated to. She'd have polio when she was a child. But anyhow, they didn't have a whole lot, but they always had food. anytime a pastor come by, they'd give him something. I mean, you didn't go home without groceries. And besides ham and sausage and stuff like that, they gave him live chicken. He came home and said, "Ellen, what you gonna do with it?" She said, "I don't know." Finally, they found a colored lady, picked it and cleaned it and all that for her. But then I think I inoculated a little in this building where we, a whole lot of the effervescence we had built in the original concept of the church. We had a balcony for the choir, everything like that. We had to cut a lot of it out. So I think his avocation was really now is carpentry work. And he told me before he was through, I'm glad we should have had it reversed a time or two. We went through a lot and managed to get material when we didn't have it. He said, "Henry, where are you getting it?" I said, "Don't ask me. I've been stealing some of it." It's been a joy, really, all of it. We went through hard times and other things. But I don't see many of them here today. But my main focus is on the youth of the church. We just don't ever undervalue training. The majestic chrysanthemum is nothing but a lowly aster with a college education. And a century ago or so, there was a scripted called on the poet of Coleridge, and they were out in his garden. He was with him. The skeptic immediately went to berating him on the fact that the young children at that time were being just training them for religion, not giving them a single chance on anything, not giving them a chance to make up their own mind. Coleridge was walking through his garden with him, and he said, he had a beautiful garden of weeds and strawberries. I mean, strawberries and roses, excuse me. He had all the weeds pulled out and that. He was showing me what he had, and he said, "Well, maybe this year I'll take and just let the weeds take over, or let the garden take over and see what the clouds want to do." And the clouds, the thistles and that, all of us know how stupid that would be. But by the same token, he said, if I done that to the children, look what would happen. A lot of this is caused by our school system, but we're going to have to keep after it to start training at an early age so the youngsters can include in their circle the value of a religion and that. And basically, I go back to farming. And the Canadian government several years ago put out a big experiment in the raising of wheat. They kept up with it for 10 years. They done the first possible sowing as early as you could. And then at weekly intervals after that they done it. They done this for 10 years. And it was proven that for every week they delayed the planting with everything equal, the crops fell from 10 to 20% each week. Now if you can put that into some way switching it over to the people, which I'm sure it would be, the earlier we can indoctrinate our children toward religion and good citizenship, the better off we're going to be. Take it from me, in a few years, these youngsters are going to be running the church, voting on the issues, and not only that, they're going to be telling you how you live because they're going to be running the government. Take care of them and help them, and God bless you for putting up with me.